So I just pose one question here. Suppose we have P del 2t del x2 plus del 2t del y2 equals to 0. Now the question number one is this a linear LRMEAR linear PDE? Is this a linear PDE? Some more answers. Linear, yes. Okay. Some more answers. Only three answers I got. Okay. 4S, 5S. Is there anybody who is saying it is non-linear? Sundar Rajan, Michael, yes. Very good. Okay. So the answer is yes. Okay. Now I ask the second question. Is this a linear problem? Is this a linear problem? Is this a linear problem? No, sir. Sri is saying. Aryan is saying no. Uh, okay. Prudvi is also saying no. Can you explain why? Why no? Can you explain why no? Sir, it is a differential problem. It is not a problem. Is it a problem then? Do you mean to say that it is not a linear problem, but it is a differential problem? Some people are saying this is a differential problem. Differential problem. In that case, they are saying yes. In that case, they are saying yes. Is it? Is it a linear problem? So many of you saying that no, it is a differential problem. Okay, that is what people are saying. Any other thoughts? Anybody is having any thoughts? Because there are no terms containing product of independent. Okay. So some answers are there, very good. Some answers people are giving, so that's a good thing. But I tell you, this is a neither linear problem nor a differential problem. Okay, it is neither linear nor differential problem. Okay, in fact, it is not a problem at all. It is not a problem what is the condition for a particular thing to be a problem? To satisfy the test, we should have the PDEs or differential equations plus boundary conditions. We should have PDE plus boundary conditions. Okay, BC condition. So then only we can call any problem a problem. We should know the governing equation. PDE means this is called a governing equation, and plus boundary conditions means boundary condition BC or initial condition. Okay. Both. Okay. So this should be there. This particular thing implies that a particular thing is a problem. Okay. So to satisfy, to whenever we say a problem, it means that we should have partial governing equation for that problem and boundary conditions. If boundary conditions are not specified, it is not a problem at all. Okay, it is just a governing equation without the boundary conditions. Okay, now we know that what are the different types of boundary conditions and initial conditions. Boundary conditions are of three types. Even initial conditions also can be of that type, and those are classified as a Dirichlet condition, Neumann condition, and Robin or mixed condition. Okay. If the boundary condition are mentioned, it is a problem. It is a problem. Okay. Now, question comes whether it is a linear problem or non-linear problem. It also depends upon the equation. If this PD is linear and boundary conditions are also linear. Okay. If linear and also linear, boundary conditions are linear, then the whole problem is linear problem. Okay. Any one of these two, PD or boundary condition, is non-linear, then it is a non-linear problem. Okay. Any one of these two is non-linear, okay, then it is a non-linear problem. Okay. In CFD, we do not have to worry about to be so concerned about linear or non-linear problems, non-linear problem problems, as the methods to solve as the methods to solve both type of problems are same. Okay. We do not have different methods for different issues. Okay. That is the thing with this. So we do not worry about whether it is a linear problem or non-linear problem. But my concern was to make you aware about the problem, definition of a problem. When you call a particular thing is a problem, when we have a given PDE, that is the equation, or boundary condition and initial condition. Now suppose I want to now make it this as a problem. Now I know this governing equation. This governing equation is known to me. Okay. Now this governing equation is known to me, and I want to make boundary condition such a way that I want to have a problem. Now the question comes: how many boundary conditions? Now boundary conditions should be there, but then how many boundary conditions should be there? Question is how many BC? How will you know? Any thumb rule? How many boundary conditions are required here? How many boundary conditions? Anybody is having idea? Okay. So that comes from the order of the order of the PD. So you see here we have a space variable d2 by dx2. We have d2 by dx2. Okay, so it implies that two boundary conditions, two BC in x direction, two BCs in x direction. Other thing is we have other term, that is del 2 y by del y2. This implies that two more conditions, two BCs in y direction. Okay, so some BC will have to specify as a part of this. So we have to specify. Suppose we have a domain like this, as we have taken in our previous class also, a rectangular plate. Okay. And in this case, say this is the x direction and this is the y direction. Then in the x direction, we need this lower BC, upper BC. Okay. So in x direction, two BCs are there, BC1, BC2, and in y direction, you have left BC and right BC. Okay. So you see, you can give at x is equals to 0, you can have a left BC. At x is equals to some length, suppose this is Lx, total length Lx, and this is a total length Ly. Okay. So we need to specify four boundary conditions. So at x is equals to, the boundary condition should be given like at x is equals to 0, that t will be some, say you want to give now Dirichlet boundary condition. So specify t equals to 0, at x is equals to Lx, t specify t equals to 1. Considering previous problem, at y is equals to 0, since your axis is starting from this location, y is equals to 0, del t by del y is equals to 0, and at y is equals to Ly, del t by del y is equals to. Now with this boundary equation and this boundary condition, it becomes a problem. Okay? It is a one type of problem. If you change the boundary condition, the problem becomes another problem. Okay, so two problems are different in terms of their boundary condition, but their governing equations can be same. For this problem, for example, I may have another problem where this left BC may be insulated, right BC may be insulated, and top upper BC may be one value and lower BC may be a 0 value. Okay, so the problem varies with respect to the boundary condition. Okay. Also, govern equation. Sometimes, suppose we have fluid here, not solid region, then we need to consider the momentum equations, continuity equation into consideration. Okay. So, in that sense, govern equations also can change. But if suppose the same situation is there in wood and metal walls, and you want to see the conduction and convection studies, and you change the boundary conditions, then problem will change. Okay. So the problem, so the crux of this story is problem plus boundary condition or initial conditions essentially gives rise the problem that is called as well that is called as uh, it should be called as a well posed problem, but to have that category, I'll just say later on problem. Okay. So this is essentially a problem. A problem. Okay. This is essentially a problem. Okay. Now let me just twist a little bit and try to make you. So let me take one example. Uh, del t, del t, small t is a time plus u del t del x is equals to alpha del 2 t del x square. Now, this is a governing equation. For example, how many boundary conditions? Now, question is how many boundary conditions? How many DCs or ICs? Your answers, please. Three. Some is saying three. Someone is saying three. Someone is saying four. Someone is saying two. Someone is saying three. Again three. Okay, now which one is correct? So who is whichever two? Somebody is saying two. Abhishek. Abhishek, why two? Abhishek, why two? Why three? Why four? Can anybody explain those who have given answers? Because I would like to know why they are saying three. Now please make it fast. Who are saying three? Just please let me know why they said like that. Because you counted like this, del x 2, 2 plus 1 plus 1, 4, like this. The power of t is 1, power of x is 1, and power of x2 is 2. So 1 plus 1 plus 2, like that. I would like to know what your understanding is. That so? Those who have given 4 answer as a 4. What you are thinking? Tell me. Can you speak? Hello? I just want to hear. Akhil, Akhil, you give some answer. Akhil? Okay, I just guess it like that. People might have just thinking 2 IC and 2 BC. Okay, some saying 2 plus 2. Okay, okay. So what I understood is that whenever you want to see the boundary condition, you have to see the power. Okay, so you see the first term del 2 del t by del t. This is the first order term. Okay, so this is the first order in time. Okay, so this implies that we need one BC, that is initial condition, one initial condition, because the order of that PD is 1. Now come to these two terms. Now here we have same variables x. So whenever you have same variables, in that cases, you have to see the highest order. What is the highest order? So highest order in x, highest order derivative, highest order derivative in x is d2 d by dx2. Okay, so this is the second order in x, second order in x. So this implies that we need two BC boundary conditions. Okay, two BC. You understood now? Okay. One initial condition because it's order. Suppose I change the order. Now suppose I change the order of this. Then in that case, it will become the second order. Okay. So this will become second order in time. So we'll need two initial conditions. Suppose we have another term here in y. Okay. Suppose we have a term like this u del t del y. Then you need, so you see del t del y having highest order is first order in y. There is no any other higher order in y. So this implies one BC in y, one boundary condition in y direction, y direction, and here two BC in x direction. Okay, you understood now? Okay, this is a general guideline. Also, we have to look at the nature of the PD when you have to specify boundary condition. Okay, so you must be remembering one thing. We had this equation del t minus a square del square t del x square equals to 0. Now, how many boundary conditions here? Okay. Now, if you start using that principle, you will end up saying two BCs in x. Okay, and initial conditions, but this is a hyperbolic PD. Okay, this is a hyperbolic PD. Hyperbolic PD. And in hyperbolic PD, we have only inflow BC. Inflow BC. So mathematically, at So this is a 1D problem. This is the x direction. You have two boundaries, but only you have to give boundary condition at inlet and no boundary condition at outlet. Even though we need mathematically two boundary conditions in x direction. Okay, that you have to understand. So, whatever we were discussing previously, that was mathematics. In mathematics, whenever you have a problem and whenever you want boundary condition, number of boundary conditions to be counted, those are dependent upon the order of the variable, and on that variable, then you have to do the boundary condition. Those many number of boundary conditions. But in CFD, when you are looking at a problem, you have to see whether the problem is elliptical, parabolic, or hyperbolic, and based on that, you have to use the boundary. Okay, understood? Okay, well and good. Okay. Now, once you have a problem, what is the purpose? Once you have a problem, what is the purpose? In all activities, we would like to have a solution. Okay, we would like to have a solution. So once we have a PD, how do we get the solution? We discretize the domain. Okay, PDs are for continuous domain. PDs are continuous for continuous domain. Okay, so if you want a solution of a PDE, for example, then it will be a continuous solution. In CFD, if you want solution, CFD solution, CFD solution, CFD solution will be discrete solution. So in CFD, we need to divide the region into various subregions. Okay. And we see some sort of a net. This is called a grid. Okay, it looks like a grid, so it is called a grid generation. Okay, so we generate a grid. We divide a domain into discrete domains, subdomains, small domains. Okay, and we solve the PD on this domain. Okay. Now, when PDs are also continuous for continuous domain, our PDs also need to be discretized here. Okay. So, our PD, suppose we have a term del T by del T, that also needs to be discretized. Okay. That is called as discretization. After that, this grid generation, we have a discretization of the PD, discretization of PD also. Okay. That is what we do in CFD. But what type of solution we want? So when we have a problem, we ask three questions: whether my problem is, whether the solution is unique solution. Okay, unique solution means one and one only. Okay, one and one only. We would not like to have a more than one and one only. Nobody would like to have for a same problem two different solutions. It means there is no guarantee that we will have. And we also ask whether the solution exists, whether the solution really exists or not. If it is a unique, the first thing is we ask for existence of the solution, whether this problem has a solution or not. If that solution is there, we ask whether it is a unique solution or not. Okay. And existence property. And another thing is very important, that is dependence on the boundary condition, dependence on the on DC or LC. If your solution, your PD solutions exist, it should be unique and it should be dependent on the initial condition and boundary condition. Okay. If you have such a solution to any problem, if you have these three properties and you have that problem with proper BC, problem with proper BC, with proper BC is called as is called as well posed, well posed, POSED, well posed problem. Okay. What is a well posed problem then? In a well posed problem, you have a continuous dependency on the boundary condition. Okay. Continuous dependency on the boundary condition. Dependency on this. Okay. If what does it mean? It means that if any small change in the boundary condition is there, suppose we change boundary condition value from one to 1.01, it should respond in a well-behaved manner. If you change from 1 to 1.01 and you suddenly see a drastic change in your solution, then it is not a well posed problem. Well posed problem means, I mean, then in that case, something is wrong with your boundary condition. Something is wrong with your setting. Okay. So small change, continuous dependency on boundary condition. Small change in BC, small change in BC should not change in BC or IC value should not lead to large change. Should not lead to should not lead to large change. Then we say that problem is well posed problem. And when the problem is well posed problem, what is the property of the well posed problem? Well posed problem, well posed problem has unique, there is a existence of a solution. Existence of a solution is there. Of solution. Second, your solution likely to be unique. Okay, and there is a continuous dependency, continuous dependency on boundary conditions of our initial condition. Means small changes will not lead to large changes in this. Okay. And to surprise, to your surprise, even Navier equations not shown to be, unique, unique solutions or existent properties and so on. Okay. But in this course, we are not. I mean, that is the mathematics part of work. I mean, in mathematics or mathematicians look into that, and we are interested in solution of Navier equation with established methods. Okay, so we are interested in solution of Navier equations. Navier-Stokes equations. Okay, we are not going to deal about the existence, uniqueness, all this mathematical stuff of that. We will not try to prove. We assume that there is a solution available, and that solution is unique, continuously dependent, provided using so-called BC. So-called means so-called BC means your Dirichlet-Bichy, so-called BC. Dirichlet-Bichy, so-called BC means Dirichlet, Dirichlet, Neumann, Neumann, and Robin. Okay, and Robin or mixed. So if you give proper boundary conditions, we there is existence of the unique solution, and we would like to see the solution using the method. Okay. Now, as I said, we need to get the solution in CFD. In CFD, to get the solution, we need to divide the domain into small subdomains. Okay, like this, small domain, so that they can be handled on computers. Okay, and now since we have disguised the domain, so this is our physical domain, and physical domain also governed by the equations, and those govern the equation. Those govern the equations also need to be discretized. That is what the philosophy. Okay, need to be discretized. Now, there are many discretization techniques. Okay, as we already discussed, there is one popular method of discretization is finite difference method. Finite difference method. Okay. PIFF method. Okay. And then we have finite volume method. Finite volume method. And then we have finite element method. There are many more: spectral method, okay, spectral element method, and many other methods are there. We will be focusing on these are majorly used, okay. Although these methods are very different in their uses, like finite difference method use the only PD, finite volume method use integral form of the given equation, finite element method use also the integral form of the equation. Finite difference method do not show the property of conservativeness. Finite element method also do not show the property of conservativeness, but finite volume method is inherently showing the property of conservativeness. So most of the softwares focus on finite volume method. So this is a star. Most of like ANSYS, Fluent, all these softwares are available. They are using finite volume method. Finite difference method is for understanding. Most of the cases in academics, to make understand the fundamentals of CFD, finite difference method is taught, so that students understand the fundamentals first, and they can. So fundamentals do not vary with respect to the method. Okay. So understanding fundamentals using simple method like difference method is good. And then fundamentals are same for everything, so you can understand nicely. Okay, that is the reason. So in our course, we start with the finite difference method first, and then we cover finite volume method, and then finite element. Okay, so there is a little fight between finite volume and finite element method. But since we are dealing with inflow and heat transfer problem, for this finite volume method is the conservative. So we will try to focus more on this and small introduction to finite element later. Okay, what's the time? So, just a minute. Hello, hello. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so we have a few more time. We start with finite difference later. Okay. Maybe then I can think about something else. If I Okay. I'll just talk about this physical domain. Okay. Now this I'll talk about physical domain. Rather than how do we take a domain itself? Okay. Domain means the region where we would like to solve. Uh, Sorry for the interruption. So I'll focus on how to consider a domain. Okay. So I have just shown any arbitrary domain. Uh, Now, in the first class, I was discussing about a room. Okay, there was a room shown, uh, and that inside that room there was a teacher. Okay. Inside that room there was a teacher. Okay, so there was some teacher here inside the room. Now, in this, if you want to solve, you may like to take the domain depending on the dimensions. For example, if these dimensions are very large, if these dimensions compared to the dimensions of the object, this is suppose L, uh, this is L, and this is LL, this is LL. Sorry, suppose this is large, and this is small. Okay, let's say S. Now, in that case, you can skip this dimension. Okay, when it doesn't mean that the large dimensions with the skipping dimension. Okay, you have to see whether the changes, what are the changes. So this is a heated one. Okay, so this is a hot object. This hot object maybe it depends on the temperature. Say suppose it is very hot, then it might cover the whole region at some point. But if it is very not so hot, say 200 or like that, okay, I mean for 40 degrees Celsius or 50 degrees Celsius, then the region just nearby the object will be affected. Okay. Here there won't be any change in temperature. So here the temperature T will not be much. But here you can see change in temperature. If you suppose this hot object is at 60, then you will see some values here. Okay. And here you will simply see the atmospheric temperature. Now in this case, if you take this much, this region also where there is no variation, this region also where there is no variation in temperature, then you are unnecessarily discretizing a domain solving on a computer. Okay, so unnecessarily you are wasting time on a computer computation. So the meaning of this large dimension in the sense that in this large dimensional direction, there is no appreciable change in the dependent variable. Okay. If there is no appreciable change in the dependent variable, okay, then you can cut short the reason. You can get an estimate how much can be the effect, and in that case, you can think of similarly on other directions also. You see, if you see that at larger distances there is no effect in this direction, and in this near this also you don't see any change here, and in this then and in this side in this direction, then you can essentially consider a small region near to the, the object, some rectangular similar type of shape. You can take it type rectangular is a nice geometry. So you can take that and you can pick up this, and you can pick up this domain and say that this is your domain. Okay, rather than saying that the walls and these things are domain. But now the boundary conditions are different here. Here the boundary condition is wall. Okay, wall means nothing can be penetrating from this. No flow can go. It means velocity will be zero. No slip condition will be there. U, V, W, all three components of the velocity will be zero on this. And based on the temperature value of the wall, you will have to specify the T value, temperature value. Here, when you here you don't know the this thing, okay, boundary condition. So here you will have to be very careful in specifying a boundary condition. Okay, what type of boundary condition you can give on this such a zone or such a region, rather than it is not a wall. This is physically not a wall. So you cannot give a wall boundary condition here, but you will have to find maybe you can give a boundary condition such a way that here and here you can say that near before that and this region there is no appreciable change in the dt. So you can say dt in that normal direction like that. Based on the physical situation, you can give. Okay. So this is one example. I hope you understood one aspect of what I'm saying. Suppose there is another flow, a channel flow. Many of you must have gone through this channel flow example. So this channel flow example, many of you might have gone. Okay. So this is say a channel. The flow is going the flow is going out, and here the flow is coming in. Okay. So here flow is coming in, and here flow is going out. So you can say now this. Let me introduce some coordinates x, and I may say y, and I may say this is y. Okay. Now, what will do about the domain? I will consider the domain. Domain means whether the domain should be 1D domain, 2D domain, 3D domain, or you would like to take a full domain or some part of the domain. Okay. So here this was the case. Here we consider a 3D problem into 3D problem, 3D into 3D. Okay. But small domain. We have taken a small domain based on the situation. Here, can we take 3D to 3D? Just some thinking. Now, you see in this Z direction, G direction, which is the longer direction, it, longer doesn't mean that there is no appreciable change. Okay. Okay. It might also happen that the dimension may be very small, but in that dimension, nothing is happening. But in such a cases, you see dominant directions are y and x. If you have a flow here, your flow, if the flow is moving with velocity u at the inlet, its variation in the form velocity is u, its variation along g direction minimum. But if you see this region is very contracted, here you have huge effect of viscosity. Just give me a second. Hello, hello. No, chemical engineering. Okay. Yeah. So here in this, so you see when you have velocity, you know that in a pipe flow, you get this nicely changing velocity profile. You know, initially it will be a little flat, then it will be starting, and finally it will make a parabola. So you see appreciable changes are in y direction and x direction, but the same profile will be there in other direction. Okay? So everywhere if you go, it will be like a parabola. So you see the changes are more in such cases, such problems are considered as 2D problems, and there you can consider x direction and y direction. And here you can specify inlet boundary condition, here you can specify outlet boundary condition, and here wall boundary condition, and also here wall boundary. So here you convert 1 to 3D problem into 2D problem. Okay. So this way you can consider a domain. Okay. Okay. So I have just given two examples of how to consider a domain. You can find many more examples, and you know, you can proceed. Okay. Now another example I will pick up from the another example I will take. So our flat. Plate example. Okay, so we were considering a plate where we had some boundary condition. Okay. Okay. Now this was a plate. Okay. Now I will also make another plate. Okay. Okay. So one case is there where we have insulation here, and here we have E equals to 0, E equals to 0, and E equals to 1. Can I change the this problem into very small region? This is Ly and this is Lx. Can I reduce this Lx Ly into a small problem? Now it depends upon the one thing is the geometrical similarity. Now you see there is a geometrical symmetry. Geometrical symmetry. Okay. You see, geometrically they are symmetric. So you can nicely divide into some four regions, not a greedy. Okay. I just want not I don't want to solve for whole domain, but I just want to solve for small domain. It is possible. But in the case when we have boundary conditions also symmetric. Okay. But here you see in one case you cannot specify the boundary condition. You cannot convert this domain into the smaller domain. Okay, smaller domain. That is not possible. But if you have geometrically similarity as well as you have a boundary condition, say suppose you have same boundary T1, or you can say you have heat transfer coefficient given H, same H is given, and you have insulation here. Insulation is given, and here also insulation. Now you see there is a perfect symmetry. So what you can do is, rather than solving the whole domain, you can take the quarter of the domain, and here you will specify H. Here you will make it insulation wall, and here you have to give symmetry. So solution will be symmetric. Here solution will look like same. Whatever solution is there, it will just copy on other three regions. Okay. When you have a geometrical symmetry and symmetry boundary conditions, same solution will appear here, here, here. So rather than solving for a whole domain, it is better to solve for a smaller domain and get the result. So you can divide your domain like this. Now you have to give appropriate boundary condition. Since it is repeating, you have to give a symmetry boundary conditions here. Symmetry boundary conditions. So two criteria are very important when you choose a domain and reduce the domain. One is geometrical symmetry. They should be geometrically similar. Those should be geometrically similar, and they should be boundary conditions. Thermal similarity. You can say thermal. They should be thermal similarity also should be there. This is not like a dimensioning, okay? This is not dimensioning. It is related to boundary conditions or BC. BC. Okay. You should have similar type of BC. Then only it will appear the same solution in the region. So that is what I wanted to say. Anybody is having any question? We'll elaborate on this. This part is little not so easy at this moment. Okay, and it was not intended for this class, but I just said it something. We'll see in a time in time. Okay. But just I wanted to say that domains can also be your actual domain, physical domain. Now, physical domain is this whole region, but the computational domain can be this part. You can make it as a computational domain rather than using whole as a computational domain, which is a physical domain. You can use your computational domain as different than the computation physical domain. Okay, it's based on the criteria. Okay, so is it fine? Shall we leave now? You have to communicate. I don't see any communication. You just keeping mum. Okay, I'll also leave.